This world demands the qualities of youth. Not a time of life, but a state of mind, a temper of the will, a quality of the imagination, a predominance of courage over timidity, of the appetite for adventure over the life of ease.
I can't stand your religious meetings. I'm fed up with your conferences and conventions. I want nothing to do with your religion projects, your pretentious slogans and goals. I'm sick of your fundraising schemes, your public relations and image making. I've had all I can take of your noisy ego music. When was the last time you sang to me? Do you know what I want? I want justice, oceans of it. I want fairness, rivers of it. That's what I want. That's all I want. Yeah.
I'm here with Joel Houston. I'm going to ask Joel some questions about Australia. Is it true that the sun is hotter and shines brighter and the grass is greener on the other side?
It is true that it feels like the sun is closer.
Okay.
The grass is browner for sure.
Okay.
But as far as everything else, it's pretty amazing.
So how did it turn into like a worship band is now kind of leading a social justice movement?
We struggle with the concept of even just being a worship band. You know, we are all from a local church in Sydney, Australia.
All of us serve in our local church. We're part of a local church back home.
You know, we just grew up in a church and we all loved music and we were just kind of trying to have as much fun with that as we could. Next thing you know, we kind of find ourselves traveling around the world and singing these songs.
They're unloading the van and we're just standing right here.
Documenting the life of a bag.
I don't know if that's gonna last.
That ain't gonna make it.
What?
That ain't gonna work. See, JD's the master of back trolley right there.
I said it's not about being perfect, but you got to give your absolute best every time.
I feel like the last 3 years has been like at the blink of an eye.
So many different places and cultures and languages.
And we've seen some of the most amazing places in the whole world, but every airport is pretty much the same.
There's nothing fun about airports when they look like this.
How, what?
Are we in the wrong place?
What? Lower level? Is this us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This looks more like it.
There actually doesn't seem to be anybody anywhere near here that looks like anyone that we know.
Should we have gone up instead of down?
How did you keep on holding on to your visions and your inspirations?
So what's something you didn't know before that you do know now?
When you were growing up, who was your hero?
You guys deal with the fact that you are worshipped, and we have lots of people that doesn't understand it. So they treat you like all stars, you know?
I feel so out of place in what we're doing.
Joel, what is iHeart Revolution?
Well, it's the iHeart Revolution because
The iHeart Revolution.
That's right. That's right. The thing with that is this whole thing's kind of snowballed and got out of control, and you know, when we started off, it was just going to be a project. We're in the midst of trying to work it out for ourselves, and we wanted to kind of take people along with us. Anyway, it's complicated. It can be complicated.
For the last maybe 3 years, my perspective on people, like my outlook on just humanity has really changed because of who we've encountered.
So I've always been really curious about the world, but it was only once we kind of got into the meat of this that I was like, far out, I haven't seen anything.
To be honest, I kind of feel like I don't know anything except the one thing. And so if we can just understand the one thing, then maybe that's all that we need to do. I don't know.
In a few hours, the plane that brought me to this country crossed over oceans and countries which have been a crucible of human history. In minutes, we traced migrations of men over thousands of years. Seconds, the briefest glimpse, when we passed battlefields on which millions of men once struggled and died. We could see no national boundaries, no vast gulfs or high walls dividing people from people. Only nature and the works of man, homes and factories and farms, everywhere reflecting man's common effort to enrich his life.
Well, it is probably, I'd say 6 a.m.
We just landed here in Manila in the Philippines.
We're here in Buenos Aires.
We are in Norway and we are riding bicycles.
We're in Rio de Janeiro.
Describe Rio in 4 words.
Vast, busy, crowded, and a little bit mysterious.
We're in France. We're in Scotland. Edinburgh.
It's
Today we are in Amsterdam.
So we just spent the day in Shanghai.
We're about to board a plane to go from Sao Paulo to Paraguay.
We're in Phoenix, Arizona, in the middle of the deserts.
Yep.
There's cacti, that's basically it, sand and cacti.
We're sitting here in Portugal Airport after exactly 31 hours of travel.
13 hours later, feels like 30 hours later. 2 international flights. We're here in beautiful Hong Kong, just after midnight.
We're in South Africa.
We're not running late because we're running on African time, so it's okay.
We made it to London finally.
We just left, now where did we leave?
We are on a train. I don't know exactly where we are.
Where are we? What time is it?
It's too early in the morning.
Sorry if my eyes just closed randomly.
So I really enjoy it, and I wouldn't change it for anything. And I hope to do it until I get old.
Church faz lá na Austrália, em Sydney, na Austrália.
Who needs the picture at everyone was, I can only give it to drum bass piano.
Everyone's here. If you can look out, everyone's already arrived. And it's going to be huge. I'm pumped.
Everything's going great. The sun is shining.
It's not too long before we're supposed to start, and there's some pretty major crowd issues. Just everyone's squashed up front. It's freezing cold, about 1 degree, pouring with rain. We're just trying to work out what to do. Don't want anyone to get hurt.
We're going to get the fire marshal up and make an announcement. Had a few announcements all day. So they're going to get a bit of authority up here. Got 2 choices, unless they move up into the grandstand and spread out and do a worship night. If not, then we won't be doing anything. We probably will, but that's what I told them.
It is minus 80 billion degrees out there. It is the wettest night the world has ever experienced. I reckon it's a recipe for the greatest night we've ever done.
Make sure you're ready, 5 minutes. You've been to the bathroom, done your shoelaces up, got changed.
What should I wear?
Go on, have a look at
Is that a cowboy shirt or not?
The stage can be a strange place to be. You know, we can be up on this stage and there can be, I don't know, 100 people or 100,000 people in this crowd, and you know, we can be doing what we're doing and you look out and you see this crowd and it just looks like a blur. But every now and then there'll be this moment where you stop and you look out, and rather than seeing a crowd, you see people, you see individuals. And you realize that every single person is someone, you know. Every person is a real life. And we can be so quick to approximate people into a crowd. I mean, we do it even, if you look at the planet, they say there's like, what, 6.5 billion people on the planet, which is crazy. I can't even get my head around that kind of a figure, but we do, you know, we approximate humanity to the nearest 500 million, as if near enough is good enough. The truth is, every single one is someone. Every single one is a real life, you know, with real hopes and real fears. Everyone is unique and everyone is alive in this moment in history. I guess doing their best to navigate all that life throws at them, and in the midst of it, trying to work out why it is they're here and, you know, what it is they're supposed to be doing.
What do you girls want to do when you finish school?
I want to be an interior designer.
I'd like to play sport or something, like maybe go overseas, play sports for a while.
I like to be an actor.
Maybe a studio musician.
Find a job, settle a family.
I haven't decided what I want to be.
I don't know, primary school teacher or something like that.
I'm interested in pursuing medicine. I'd love to be able to write movies and television shows and songs and anything else.
I want to be a fashion designer. I made this right here and I'm rocking it. What's up? See? Isn't it nice?
I know, I quite like to be an actress. Sit around and do nothing otherwise.
Someone pays a lot of money with not a lot of responsibility.
When I finish school, I'm not really sure. Thinking of trying to just get as rich as possible.
I hope I have a purpose that will be worthwhile.
Yet this is the measure of the task of your generation, and the road is strewn with many dangers. The belief there is nothing one man or one woman can do against the enormous array of the world's ills, against misery, against ignorance, or injustice and violence. Yet many of the world's great movements of thought and action have flowed from the work of a single man.
I felt like I could do anything. Yeah, in many ways, it wasn't until I got older that you get some of that confidence knocked out of you, but you grow up thinking you can change the world.
Our answer is the world's hope. It is to rely on youth.
When you're young, you don't have that much experience in life, so you have more of the liberty to dream and go, oh, who am I going to be when I grow up, and what am I going to do with my life?
I think deep down inside there's a compassion in every person that wants to help somebody else and do the right thing.
I just want to make a difference in this world. I want to make some changes. I want to make it better.
A young monk began the Protestant Reformation. A young general extended an empire from Macedonia to the borders of the earth. And a young woman reclaimed the territory of France. It was a young Italian explorer who discovered the New World. And 32-year-old Thomas Jefferson, who proclaimed that all men are created equal.
You can look back through the pages of history, and over again, you can see the stories of young people, often individuals or a few people who came together and who stood in the face of great opposition and said enough was enough, and basically made choices that went beyond themselves, and in the process, they shifted history.
It is a revolutionary world that we all live in. Thus you and your young compatriots everywhere have had thrust upon you a greater burden of responsibility than any generation that has ever lived.
Riots, soldiers, federal troops, and a presidential intervention, all for 9 teenage students. In 1957, after a ruling by the Supreme Court calling for the desegregation of all schools, a group of teenage African-American students enrolled in an all-white Little Rock Central High School. Their presence sparked fierce opposition from those wanting segregation between white and African-Americans. The Arkansas National Guard blockaded the school, only to be ordered by the president to stand down. When the students were secretly ushered into the school, riots broke out between the protesters and the heavily outnumbered police. The next day, the 101st Airborne Division was sent by President Eisenhower to protect the 9. That very same year, Congress passed the first Civil Rights Act, and 2 years later, Little Rock Central High School finally reopened its doors to both white and African-American students. It not only mobilized the nation to ensure that access to a quality education was granted to all Americans, but ultimately helped to define the civil rights movement.
They demanded equal education for all South Africans. They demanded to be taught in the language of their choice. They stood up for human rights as they protested and sang from their hearts. As the students marched, police opened fire. 20 children, including 13-year-old Hector Peterson, died. A new generation had made their voice heard, and the injustice of apartheid could no longer be ignored.
If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever a moment in time when I woke up and thought, this is what I would like to be. I think there are role models around that you identify with. You think, yeah, there's a bit of that I would love to be. Or there's a person that lives down the road that he's just amazing. If I could have half of what he's got, fantastic. I don't think there is ever the time when you go, I've arrived, or this is who I intended to be. It's such a journey. And every day is like a new part of that journey.
I think about this concept that, we're called the human race. I think it kind of sums it up perfectly, because that's exactly what we've made it. It's a race, and it's kind of like everybody's on this journey, and we're all running and striving and, kind of pushing past each other, trying to get to the front and looking for the next shortcut. And, all the while maybe not even really knowing where it is we're going or what's at the finish line. And the crazy thing is, we can spend the best part of our lives trying to get to the top, hoping that it'll all make sense when we arrive at this thing called success or wealth or fame or security. I don't know that any of those things are actually a destination. It's like you can chase those things and keep chasing them, but you're never going to arrive. It's always just going to be around the corner. And sometimes I wonder whether things would look different if we realised that maybe the human race isn't about who comes first, And I wonder what it would look like if our eyes were open to the fact that maybe the human race is not a race at all. That it's not a competition.
Just breathe, and every little thing will be alright. Every little thing will be alright. I know your love will lead. Just breathe. I can see that you love me. I can see that you need me, baby.
I love walking around in streets, like going through, Japan, whatever, Tokyo is like one of the coolest places, because it's just like, it's so loud that how much, the young people there are just, I don't know, they just love to be themselves, and it's like they're not worried if they don't look like everyone else around them. I guess the parents of the young people in Japan, and they all dress the same, and act the same.
The interesting thing about it is that across the world, the things that are influencing young people, I feel, are narrowing. Like, it's coming through the same sources, and where that would have at one time been a whole lot of different sources and to do with local culture and local environment, now it's it's all coming through similar sources and similar companies and similar advertising and wearing similar clothes and similar trends.
It just doesn't seem like it matters that, you know, people speak different languages. It seems like our culture's a lot, you know, there's a much more of a global culture kind of with younger people. And I don't know, I reckon it's pretty amazing.
I don't know, in one sense it's scary, in another sense it opens a whole range of possibilities.
There's this sense of everyone wants to be an individual, but at the same time, like everyone, you know, like can end up looking the same and trying to fit in at the same time.
T-Bird, fronting with a pink t-shirt today? I like it. You're sporting the I'm very artistic and angsty, leave me alone. Has he? Oh, you've got the flannel going on too. And I'm relating to the Bogans with my black t-shirt. See, standard issue black t-shirt, as always. What about you, Petey?
Boy band.
Boy band. That's so funny.
You know, society can be so quick to kind of sell us this picture that if you look like this, or if you have that, or if you be like them, then everything's going to be sweet. And the reality is, it's a lie.
I watch a generation like coming through that doesn't understand that they've got value, that they look at the media and they look at what the world says and they just think they're worth nothing. And they get caught in a cycle of my parents are on the dole and on welfare, and they fight and they bicker, and my parents are divorced, and they don't get that doesn't define who they are.
If you don't know who you are, you can't survive, because the deepest need of one man or one woman is to know who they are.
I mean, I remember just going, like, I wonder if anyone even had the same thoughts or worries or struggles that I did. And like, you feel so alone. You want so much to kind of know what's going on, but you feel like you don't know what's going on.
The issues young people in Switzerland face are lack of identity and values. We have a lot of divorces. The divorce rate is more than 50%, so nobody tells them that they are loved, that they are worth something. They work hard to get a lot of money, to have their status symbols, and they feel there is something missing, so they consume drugs, they have sexual relations that won't work, and other relations that destroy them.
You go to school during the week, and then you work during the week, and then you're basically waiting for the weekend so you can go and get completely off your head drunk, and then you have a hangover on Sunday, and then you go back to school or work again so you can then go do that the next weekend.
And even this idea of self-injury, just hearing from people who said that things felt out of control and life felt like such a storm on the inside, and so they were this, something like cutting was this idea of using pain to deal with pain and to try to have some sense of control, which for people who don't struggle with that feels so often very, very foreign and even hard to relate to.
Everything's plastic in the culture that I come from. Everything's dependent on who you know and what you drive and what you wear. And
for me in high school, I cared so much about what everyone thought about me. So instead of kind of going, who am I, what am I supposed to do, I got so sidetracked on who should I be for other people, and you're cool, you're not cool. Just the stupid stuff that comes in high school and school. Your whole identity is formed there. For me, that was a massive battle, being comfortable with who I was.
It just really is about appearances, and it is kind of cosmetic in every way. It's a cosmetic kind of peace and satisfaction that kind of, and underneath it all, there's the same. It's just empty, It's empty.
And we can be so quick to kind of chase, I suppose in vain, our value in in the attention or in the applause of man. And we compare ourselves to this picture of success that society throws at us. And in the process, I suppose, we trade, our individuality, the things that make us unique, for basically the uniform of the crowd. And when we do that, we just become like everyone else, and we miss perhaps the opportunity to play the part that only we can play.
(1780), and the British Parliament elect into office an eminent 21-year-old by the name of William Wilberforce, known for his eloquence, charm and wealth. However, for 5 years, lacking direction and purpose, he did little more than was necessary. It was in 1785 that he became radically converted and resolved to commit his future life and work to the service of God. In November of 1786, Wilberforce received a letter from Sir Charles Middleton, which ignited his interest of the slave trade, and while initially hesitant, he determined to look into the subject further. It wasn't until 6 months later that he decided to take the matter to Parliament. On May 12, 1789, he made his first speech on the subject of abolition, reasoning that the slave trade was morally reprehensible and an issue of natural justice. 2 years later, he introduced the first parliamentary bill to abolish the slave trade. It was defeated, 163 votes to 88. The following year, he again brought another bill calling for abolition. Again, it was defeated. Over the coming years, he moved for bills again and again. All of them were defeated. In the hopes of persuading the British government, Wilberforce continued to collect evidence to support the end of slavery and journeyed around England, collecting 390,000 signatures from British citizens in support of the anti-slavery cause. 42 years later, and just 3 days before his death, slavery was abolished across all British colonies.
What spins me out is that we'd go to all these places and you'd get there and you'd see these streets and you'd see these people just going about life like this is their world, this is where they live, this is for them home, this is where they are. At any one time, we would leave that place and then the next day, we'd be in a different place, a new city, and it'd be even a new country. And it would be different, the culture would be different, and the way the street looked would be different, and even what the people were doing, everything. And you're going, okay, yesterday I was there, and today it's here, and it's not like you're at Disneyland and you're going from one ride to another ride, or it's a theme park. It's actually, this is the world that we live in, and you've got so much culture wrapped up into this thing called the Earth, which actually isn't that big. I mean, you can get on an aeroplane and basically go all the way around it within, a day and a half. We all live in the same moment. Everybody, everywhere, all over the world, is living in the same moment. It's something that we all have in common, and the moment can look so vastly different for everybody, but it's the same moment. So often we get caught up in what happened yesterday, and we get so focused on what's going to happen tomorrow that we let this moment just pass us by. But this moment is all that we've got. And I think that the world we live in, what we see is what it is because of the way that, generations who've gone before us, how they acted and reacted to their time on Earth, how they responded to what the moment threw at them. And the reality is the future will be written in the way that we respond to the moment that we have in front of us.
Welcome to Tokyo International Airport.
Please remain in your seat with your seatbelts fastened. Contents may have shifted during the flight. We'll also be showing you an in-flight movie. Portez des... Remain in your seat. We appreciate your business and we hope that you choose to fly
British Airways, Asian Airlines,
United Express. We hope that you choose to fly with us again soon. Take care and have a great evening.
And we never got much time in any of these places, and so you would be driving often to the venue and you'd be looking out the bus window and you'd see these streets and you'd see people going about life, and you'd see the world that we live in, and then we would have these nights where there's all these people and they're singing and they're dancing and jumping around, and there's so much urgency and so much passion, and I couldn't help but feel over and over that if what's happening inside the four walls of those venues, whether it's a church or a convention center or an arena or wherever, if what's happening within those four walls is having no effect on those streets that we traveled down to get there, then maybe we're missing the point.
The problem here is that they come to the city looking for a better life, and the city eats them. They don't have any opportunity to work because they are not skilled to be employed in any place here in the city.
We have a lot of insecurity. We have a lot of crime. We have a lack of a social floor. We have poverty. We have a lack of education. We have a lot of these very important issues that kind of mess up with the hope you have in the future.
They just got me, a couple of guns in my head, and they took my car, got me in their van. They're just asking questions about my credit cards and stuff. They want to get the most out of you.
You don't normally look up and say, oh, I think Mexico is going to do great in the next 10 years. The way you look at the future normally is like, oh yeah, another 6 years of the same thing and nothing's going to change.
These are different evils, but they are the common works of man. They reflect the imperfections of human justice, the inadequacy of human compassion, the defectiveness of our sensibility toward the sufferings of our fellows. They mark the limit of our ability to use knowledge for the well-being of our fellow human beings throughout the world.
We're used to turning on the television and seeing so much need, and day by day we train ourselves to look past it without feeling bad, because if we felt bad at everything we saw that was wrong, maybe we'd be a wreck all the time, every day. So maybe we just shut ourselves down a little bit, and maybe that's part of the reason why there's less love, because we train ourselves to look past need and not have to do anything about it.
injustice and indifference, you know, they go hand in hand. And we can't afford to be ignorant or apathetic, or to even wait any longer. Because if we do, it's not like we're just sleeping through the fire. We're actually fanning the flame.
Do you have a perspective of what's going on in, say, Africa or Asia?
Like all the stories I hear about people dying and starving, that's it. I don't really take the time of day to actually care, because I care with myself.
I mean, you take the slogan iPod, or I this and I that, it's all about I, it's all about me. So yes, our culture has become completely self-centered and consumed with whatever is happening to me today. Whatever I need to happen to me today, I need more to happen to me today to make my life fantastic. I need more money, I need this, I need that. If only I could be like that, or look a certain way, or have a yellow cardigan, I'd be amazing.
To me, the roots of injustice are in our focus on ourselves, you know, and our focus on our own nations and our own turf and our own family.
I don't know, I'm trying to figure out the concept where the Western young kids grow up. They probably grow up in abundance. They grow up in so much things that they just probably take for granted. And the other side of the equation is a lot of people have nothing to basically live on.
You know, I guess the concept of me of having a roof over my head and a bed is like, just to say I've taken that for granted is an understatement. When you see just the living conditions and the way that people dress and what they get to eat, like I didn't believe existed, you know.
And I remember getting out of the airport and being in this van and driving from the airport, and the traffic being pretty congested. So we're kind of, you know, crawling along, and these kids running up to the van in like just rags tied around, dirty rags, you know. There was hundreds out on the highways. Like you could see kids approaching cars all over the highways and just asking for spare change or money.
Do you think young people have a perspective of what's going on outside their country?
Not a clue. No, I don't think they do at all. And I think young people are resistant to that as well. I think that they are very eager to parrot the ideas that they hear on Fox News or from their parents.
I think people think they know what's going on overseas, but they really don't have at least a fair and balanced and objective point of view on it.
No, they don't at all. It's very I-orientated. Everything is about what do I want, what do I feel, what do I need.
But I don't think they do. They're too busy with themselves and just too self-centered.
Because I think with school and everything like that, just the way that we've been taught and grown up in our lives, that we've kind of been secluded.
I think it's better to admit that you really don't than to pretend that you do, because it's, you know, the world's complicated.
There's basic human rights. People should have a home. People should be able to eat. People should have clean water. There's no reason for them to have a disease. They have a disease because somebody abused their mother, and they were born with this disease in their blood. And they have to deal with that for the rest of their life.
HIV/AIDS has a major impact on development. The incident rate is so high in parts of Africa, and those that are affected are people like teachers and healthcare workers, and so the workforce is dying.
People die at the age of 25, 26, 27, and it's really very, very, very bad for someone dying at the age where a country needs him or her most, where his family or her family needs him or her most. And I don't know what really we can do.
Only earthbound man still clings to the dark and poisoning superstition that his world is bounded by the nearest hill. His universe ends at river shore. His common humanity is enclosed in the tight circle of those who share his town or his views and the color of his skin.
We don't really see the big picture. We see and we're like, oh, you know, that's sad or whatever, but we don't do anything about it.
I mean, the information is open for us, but just like being teenagers, we can't really make much difference. So
It's not that we don't care.
Yeah, it's not that we don't care.
About 59.9% of Indonesian population have an income $2 or less than $2. That is a day. So you just have no idea the kind of life that our young people, you know, who have to survive and to survive with any means they could possibly find in the streets.
I mean, I grew up in America where everything is very positive, where everything is, you know, you have this Western culture of looking at the future that, you know, you can do, if you have the strength, if you have the courage to do it, you can achieve it. Kids here would just look at their daily lives and say, this is it. This is the best that we can do.
We've driven past, we've seen kids, we've seen injustice, but this was actually to go inside the injustice, to actually walk the same streets as these kids, to, you know, to touch the same walls and to climb the same stairs, and to see the bullet holes in the nursery, and to see the difference between the 4-year-olds who would smile and the 9-year-olds who just had cold faces, just stares, you know? That feels like the closest I've got to it, because I wasn't watching, I wasn't an observer, I was inside it, and I could smell it, I could feel it, I could taste it. The fact that these guys, unless something happened, you know, the future wasn't bright.
We met this couple. Here they are living in, again, what is like a dump for anyone who lives in, I suppose, the Western world. That's how you would view it. You just wouldn't live there. You wouldn't let your dog kind of stay there. But a beautiful husband and wife who had kids. But because of what they're living in, their kids can't live with them. They'd been kind of kicked out of where they used to live, and so now they're trying to find another place, but there is crisis for housing and accommodation and massive issues of poverty. And he takes us to what is his house, and it literally is just, it's not even a tin shed, it's just a couple of bits of timber with an old mattress and a few personal items, and it was just not where you would want anyone to live. This guy, I suppose, in a proud kind of way, says, "This is my home." And he then turns to us and says, "You are welcome in my home anytime." It was pretty crazy, this whole place, this whole situation. There's anger in the people, there's injustice. I suppose when you're in a tough situation, your back's to the wall, you're just going to come out fighting.
I look out the window and we're driving past a shantytown where there's one pole providing electricity to just a whole bunch of, they were huts made out of like just strips of aluminium. No plumbing, no schooling, and that was where people lived. And they were in every city we went to. And that is what spun me out, because there was extreme wealth and extreme poverty, and it was like they were two separate universes in the same kilometre.
You're on the street and you're staying in this beautiful hotel, and on that same street there are kids that live on the street.
People are born on the street, they live on the street, they die on the street. You know, they never think otherwise. The street is their world. You know, somebody's footpath is their bedroom. You know, it just goes on like that. You know, it will never change. It will just continue like this for generations.
I just remember that blowing my mind away, because over here you've got people that live on the street, but they're always a bit older. It's never someone quite so vulnerable as a child.
When they're unschooled, they can't really get a decent job. And there's a lot of crime against children nowadays in Indonesia, whether it's trafficking as in sex trafficking or drug trafficking, kids who are working in factories under poor conditions and all that kind of stuff. Basically, if they don't have education, if they're not in that environment of schooling that they're supposed to be in, they don't really have much of a future. And it's pretty sad to see that.
The need to love and the need to be loved is completely universal. It's woven into every fibre and fabric of humanity. Can a culture, can humanity survive without it? Well, the answer is, of course, no.
Love has maybe become about whatever makes us feel good. It's like if something satisfies us right here and right now, well then that becomes, in many ways, the object of our attention and I guess the focus of our affection.
What do I love? I love Dr. Pepper.
I love swimming.
Partying.
Money?
Traveling.
At the moment, I love my holidays.
And in the process, love has become all about us.
I went in 2000 to India, and I was just going as a part of a church missions trip, and I guess I really didn't know why I was going. And I had no idea about what sort of problems existed in the developing world, and went out on the street one day and saw these two little prostitutes being offered to me, and they would have been about 7 or 9 years of age, and it really just brought back a lot of feelings about my own personal experiences with child abuse as a kid. I was abused 4 different times by 4 different people as a child, and so when I saw it, it just really rocked me, and it upset me, and it shocked me, and it stirred up so many feelings inside myself that I even thought probably that I was over.
There are over 300,000 street children in Bombay and over 10,000 girls being trafficked into Mumbai. Boys and girls, they buy them off, for like $10, $15, they buy them off and bring them to the cities. And they either put them to child labor or they sell them to prostitution. And they're forced into prostitution.
So these girls get taken against their will, sometimes raped for the first time, and then forced to prostitute themselves to repay debts that their pimps will set really high so that they can never be repaid. And children who get involved in the sex industry so young, they don't really have any idea about what they're becoming involved in. So often they don't use any form of protection to protect them against STDs. And so quite often they contract any number of STDs and possibly HIV, and then usually they might die at maybe 16 or 17 years of age. So some of them not even reaching 18 years of age. It's so destructive, it's so hurtful. I liken it in my own life to being like a building maybe just crashed inside of me, or walking around every day with broken glass inside yourself.
When you're used to what's around you, you don't see necessarily what's blaringly obvious, which is people are desperate. 5 minutes down the road from church, there's communities where these exact same things happen, where kids just model what has been modeled to them, which is as far as you can get from healthy, and they start becoming these people, and it becomes a generational thing that builds on itself.
When it comes to the foundation of injustice, often it's just really broken people that have done certain things, and as a result of that have caused more brokenness and more hurt to keep perpetuating. And I think about a young girl that I've been talking with who is in a really bad place, who has been a victim. And I think, gosh, this is like, there's so many people that, like so many young people that are in the same position all around the world that are victims, that abuse have been all they've known for many, many years, and they're still only young, like 16, 15.
It happens on our doorstep. It doesn't just happen on the other side of the world. It happens if we want to look for it, if we want to see it, it's there.
And there's so many things, a lot of things that are going on that I didn't know of, and I know that a lot of people do not know what's going on.
And there's like Africa and like the Middle East and all of that. I don't really know. I know about the Middle East because like my dad gets really mad about it and makes me watch the news.
Yeah, I do believe that they knew about poverty in other places besides Brazil, but I don't think they do care a lot, you know?
The Africa thing, all I know about is like I don't know, where are they? Uganda, you know?
The rebels have been fighting for the past 20 years, and they have had kids in the bush. Now you imagine those young men who know nothing but bush life. Where are we going to take them? I don't know if any other place in the world has the experience of northern Uganda.
Just to the north of here are lands of challenge and of opportunity, rich in natural resources, land and minerals and people. Yet they are also lands confronted by the greatest odds, overwhelming ignorance, internal tensions and strife, and great obstacles of climate and geography.
People are in camps. They've been in displaced persons camps for 20 years. No hope. They just sit around thinking, what am I ever going to do with my life?
Those camps are the places that the people have fled from their villages because the rebels would come at night, steal their kids, kill them, sometimes rape the adults, sometimes cut up their lips or their ears or genitals or whatever. And so they all fled to where they could be together. Drunkenness is a major problem. Hopelessness. People feel there is no hope. It's just going to get worse.
You know, we can be so quick to label and to box and to categorize each other. And the fact is, ours is a world that is ruled by human judgment, and human judgment is never going to be completely just. You know, it's never going to be completely fair. Because it'll always be tainted by selfish desire and the fact that our wisdom is limited. The result is a world that's stained with injustice, and it's everywhere, and I think we're all guilty of it. You know, everybody is guilty of it.
The race thing was always an issue growing up. There was always the feeling of you weren't good enough, you weren't going to make it, and I think a lot of that was just stereotype.
With the way that history is rolled out, it's happened in the past, has literally defined the way their lifestyle is now.
There's always health problems here. You've also got deeper rooted kind of issues that have, started ever since the culture has, I suppose, been in contact with white culture. Just consistent oppression and disempowerment. I think one of the biggest problems is people not having control of their own destiny, and then that filters then through into all kind of areas of life.
There's such a strong mark made from their past of hopelessness and no opportunity that it's controlling the way that they're doing life today.
If you've got dreams, you gotta follow them. But if you haven't got the resources and support, they can feel like they're just a dream, and there's no living it out.
Everyone was affected. Absolutely everyone has a story relating to what occurred there.
And happened in real life, in real time, to real people. And it's like worse than the most horrible horror movie that you could conceive. Yeah, it just blows my mind that humanity can be reduced to that. And then when you start to understand why, it goes right back to, you know, earlier in the century, you know, these European settlers kind of coming in and basically deciding that people were different. And, you know, they gave people these identity cards and said, all right, you're Tutsi, you're Hutu, and you guys, because you look a certain way, are smarter. And that's where it started, and it breaks out into all out, absolute, you know, genocide.
So when the genocide started, my mom was hidden by a neighbor, a Hutu neighbor, who sometimes used to rape my mom. She was suffering from malaria, and then she was taken, laying into the banana plantation, where she died after, and she was eaten by a dog.
So, like, in there was a memorial for the, like, even just for the children, and yeah, there was one child, I was lost of them, but there was one that was reading, he was the exact same age as my son when he got slaughtered, and it was just, you know, you think back to 94, I know what I was doing in 94. I had no idea about any of this, and you just don't know how to take that in. Don't know how to really deal with that. It's just horrific.
You know, so much of what you can see that is wrong with the world is the direct fallout of our decisions, of human decision. But then sometimes, you know, circumstance can present itself unpredictable and oftentimes, you know, brutally cruel and unfair.
Every time you see a house knocked over, whether it's the size of your garden shed or the size of a mansion, people lived in that house. Their life has been affected and maybe even lost. In the blink of an eye, it just happens. How do you prepare for that?
It feels like that sometimes, not all the time, but occasionally you get that feeling that, you know, I guess you would call it being forgotten, it feels like. Yeah.
We have nothing. When I tell you we have nothing, we have nothing. It's been a long, stressful, trying time. You know, it's just depressing.
It didn't matter how much money you had or not. The storm showed no preference. I mean, it was, you have the area that is ritzy and beautiful homes that are destroyed. And then you have the area of and the hurting that couldn't get out. It was, you hate to use the word chaos, but it was chaotic. It was a city underwater.
And sometimes I come in here, I can close my eyes, I can just close my eyes and I can remember where everything is in this house. This is my living room and my dining room right here. And that was my husband's study. We took this bedroom after the children got grown and everybody left. That's my husband's study, and that's a bathroom. And this was the girls' room. And this part here is the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And that's my bedroom and the utility room back in there, which we was gonna make a little change. We came back 3 months later. My neighbor, she was in her house. She was dead in her house, an old lady on the corner. They look in the nursing home, they look everywhere for the old lady. And when he went in the door and opened the door, the smell was so bad. That's horrifying. That's terrible, you know.
We will go out and visit all these projects and then come back and stay in a great hotel. You'll have a great shower, you have great food. And I think all that is very, very confusing. And then you can get on an aeroplane and within 5 or 6 hours you're back at home, living in luxury. And all those things really mess with your head.
I remember just like going, I'm leaving here in like 2 days and I'm getting on a nice plane and I'm leaving. And I remember going, why is this not my life?
I saw real poverty for the first time, and I didn't know what to, I didn't know.
But it seems like for every conflict that kind of closes up or heals, 2 or 3 more take their place.
Because you get so overwhelmed by the need and the hurt and the crime that is happening all over the place.
What can I do? What am I supposed to do? Like, how is me coming here for 24 hours going to help anyone or anything?
He said, you people, you NGOs, you come with your cameras and your video cameras and you make your movies and you leave behind us blankets and sweets. And as I looked around, I didn't really see any evidence of a community transformed.
I think it's way too easy to feel completely inept and unable to do anything.
Like, what can you do? Because it's so overwhelming sometimes.
There's so much need there, there's so much that has to be done.
I don't know, I just don't know the answers. And I remember standing there feeling so helpless, like there was nothing I could do for these people. Like the situation was so overwhelming.
I think that's when you feel like I can't do anything.
Io non sono solo uno, ma ancora sono uno. Io non posso fare tutto, ma ancora posso fare qualcosa. E perché io non posso fare tutto? Io non rifiuterò di fare qualcosa se io lo posso fare.
I think when we started out, we thought we would just gather all these stories, put them together, and, you know, people would be inspired and challenged, and, you know, kind of that would be it. It was like every single story that we came across seemed to be a small reflection of the one story. And that one story, I think, is the greatest act of injustice, and at the very same time, the greatest act of love.
And you
core of who we are, we all crave the very same thing. I think it goes beyond happiness or success or knowledge or even meaning. From the beggar to the king, from the famous to the faceless. Everybody needs love.
It is very hard to refuse a love that is without conditions, but I know that it exists, that He loved me when I was useless to Him.
He chose to identify with those that are the most outcast, that feel the most pain, that feel the most separated from society. Everyone ran from him. Everyone kind of betrayed him and left him out there on his own.
He's a friend. He's someone who knows us, who understands us more than we understand ourselves, and I guess who brings comfort in every situation.
He made a way for us to access ultimate love. He made a way for us to be in relationship with God. If He hadn't kind of did His thing, we would have no access point to the love of the Father. We would have no way to kind of connect with God.
Who showed me who I was when I tried a million things to figure out who I was and turn to this and turn to that. And with all the junk in my life and the stuff I'm not great at and not perfect at, I feel completely comfortable being in that place because He says that's fine and what I'm not, He is.
I believe people need the love of God. I believe they need to be in relationship with the one that actually created them.
People find a really hard time going, so you're telling me it's that simple? That Jesus loves me, not because of what I've done. My life looks like this. You're telling me He loves me just for me? I think that's really hard for people to get.
The truth is that none of us have it all together. I don't have it all together. And we have this idea that we have to be good enough.
And you opened the door for me, and you laid down your life to set me free. All that I am will serve you, Lord. And you opened my eyes to see, oh, the wonder and awe of you and me. Jesus, you're everything I need. I need. I need. I need.
To be honest, I kind of feel like I don't know anything except the one thing. Jesus came and he showed us love. He became love. He is love. We don't have to strive anymore. We don't have to fear or live up to earthly expectations. I don't think we need to find our value or chase our value in how we look or what we do or what we have, because our value was nailed to a cross. In that realization, we can start to understand who we are and why it is that we're on this planet. We were created in his image, that in finding our worth in him, we would worship him, that, in stumbling into his light, we would then reflect his glory, not our own. And that in knowing him, we would in turn love others as he has loved us.
Do you believe in a God?
God?
I don't believe in God. I'm not religious.
My mother is very religious, but I'm not at all.
A lot of people need to cling to things, religious or spiritual, and I'm definitely not.
I reckon it's better to have ideas than a belief, because you can change ideas, but you can't change a belief. I got that from a film.
I'm an atheist, but I'm aware that in the future that I'll be quite happy to become a Christian. But I think it's a huge commitment, and I'm not going to quite make that quite yet.
I'm an agnostic, because I'm way cool.
What does that mean?
It means you don't believe in God, but you pray to them occasionally just in case it is a God, kind of fail-safe.
I believe in God. All the rest of this stuff is up for grabs, really.
The message is beautiful. The message is perfect. There's nothing wrong with the message. So the only thing that could screw it up is the people delivering the message, is Christians.
What Christians are mainly known for is the things that we stand against, which is good, except the things that we stand against seem kind of petty when paired up against all the hurting in the world.
There have been too many Christians over the years and too many people that have done things in the name of God that hasn't lined up, I think, with the heart of God.
The church has made a big deal out of small things and made a small deal out of big things.
I think for too long, religion has created this righteous standard that we have to live up to. Like rules and methods in keeping with tradition and, I guess, maintaining appearances. And if the church gets caught up in that, then I think in many ways it becomes just like everything else. Too inward focused to see beyond its walls, and I guess too caught up in itself to be what it's called to be.
A lot of churches, it seems like, have a specific type of people that they cater to, and everyone else is kind of left out.
It's not a place where one might feel like the doors are open to them regardless of who they are or where they're at.
I hate to say it, but church, especially down here, is kind of, you do things our way, you think the way we want you to think, and everything's cool. As soon as you step out of line, we have a problem, and I don't like that.
Jesus called the church his bride, the light of the world, God's plan for the salvation of the earth. And it's easy to sit in the grandstand and to criticize the game and the players away from the action. But we've got to understand that God's plan is his people. And he takes pride in using the weak and the insufficient. You know, wrecks like me and like you, with all our faults and failures.
God's whole purpose is to outwork what he wants to do through the church, the body of Christ across the earth. And unfortunately, sometimes we as people aren't perfect, yet he still wants to use us. And if we all wanted to be perfect and all together, then we'd never do anything.
Because the church is made up of people are going to get things wrong. And so there's every opportunity to be hurt and be disillusioned by it. But I think that the truth, the gold, the thing that's unalterable in all of that is Jesus.
You know, the reality is, in and of ourselves, we're never going to measure up. We're never going to be perfect. But God's not after our perfection. He's not performance-based. And I think our weakness gives opportunity for his strength. And if we can accept grace and allow for the righteousness of Christ to become ours, then, we can start to strip back these layers, and we can take off these disguises, and we can stop trying to clothe ourselves in this self-righteous apparel, that we might become transparent enough that people would look at us but see the Jesus within.
Hong Kong, 1966. Jackie Pullinger, a 22-year-old girl from England with dreams of becoming a missionary, stepped off the boat in Hong Kong harbour. Her destination, the walled city. 14 stories tall, it rose from the center of Kowloon and home to in excess of 30,000 people, many of them drug addicts and gang members. Since the end of World War II, the labyrinth had become a breeding ground for the destitute and the poor. It was now in the control of the tribes, with police implementing an official hands-off policy. Pullinger preached the gospel, trying to make contact with the local people, but she saw little response. Time and time again, she tried and became frustrated with God. She began to question why she had come to Hong Kong in the first place. It wasn't until one morning she realized that she had been telling people that God loved them, but she herself hadn't loved them in any practical way. As she began to meet their needs with anything from food to medicine, one by one, gang leaders, prostitutes, and drug dealers left their old life behind. In 1993, the walled city was torn down.
Now, I remember looking out of this plane window, and we were flying somewhere over Eastern Europe. And as far as you could see, sprawled across this black canvas, there were these clusters of light. Some were huge, and some were just out there by themselves. And each cluster of light represented, a town or a village or a city or a place, Every cluster of light represented people, and I couldn't help but think, looking at it, that is God's picture for the church. That wherever there's people, that wherever we find ourselves, in every town, in every village, in every city, that we would be his light.
Well, the church is the body of Christ. If Jesus was here in his physical body, what would he do? He would go out and meet the needs of people. When the people were hungry, he fed them. When people needed help, he met their needs.
I think at the core of everything the church does should be love, and that should look really practical, not just pray, not not just talk about it in church, but actually go out and make a difference.
We have to see that the church doesn't exist to meet our needs, but rather we exist as the church to meet the needs of others.
It's important that the DNA of the church is changing from being inward-focused to outward-focused.
I want to see us not doing church, but being the church.
I just love to see the church not being afraid to tackle pretty hard issues. You know, community problems, social problems, racial problems, but not coming from a standpoint of kind of criticism or condemnation, more from a standpoint of, hey, like we're the church of Christ, like this is where we need to be, you know, we need to be right in this.
We think that all the authority, all the preaching must come from the pulpit. It's not true. It comes from the life of those who follow Jesus.
It's not about how we lift our hands or how we jump up and down singing our songs in church, but how can we, as a channel of God's love, God's passion for his people, how can we just channel that into love?
Love acts, and you can't talk about love, you have to show love.
The church is not built of bricks and mortar. It's not the stained glass window, and it's not the towering steeple bearing the cross. It's not the age-old chapel, and it's not the shiny new sanctuary. The church is not an organization, it's not a denomination. It was never designed to be a moral police force or a political persuasion, nor a social club for Christians. But the church is the people. You know, a people broken but for the grace of God. A people lost but for the love of Christ. You know, transcending the expanses of earth and the vastness of culture, from town to town and city to city, in every island and in every nation, in homes and in school halls and in theatres, you know, meeting in cafes and meeting in cathedrals, on street corners and in stadiums, meeting underground and meeting under open skies. The body of Christ being mobilized for such a time as this, rising up with selfless faith, breaking down the four walls, beginning to see what he sees and beginning to be what he's called us to be. We don't just attend church anymore.
We are the church.
Every day when I wake up, when I open my eyes, the biggest motivation for me is that somebody's life can be changed today. Somebody's life can be changed for all eternity.
Usually those that are staying and living and a part of the local community are the ones that bring about change.
We went up there and just said, you know, you're the representative of the community, and so how can we serve you? We're here not just to plant a church, but to meet you and your needs, help you. And so he began to share with us about the kids.
I think a lot of our youth end up, say, on the wrong side of the fence due to a lot of wrong choices. And so if we can install these kids with the right choices, then I think that's going to help them in the future.
That's what we try to do, pull them out of streets and give them some new livelihood, which is legitimate, and help them to basically survive in their society.
No society gets changed through their governments alone. It takes many layers of actors in a society to help things develop.
The church plays a major role. Government can come with a guideline, a framework, but this job is for the church.
It's really amazing what's happening at the local level. More than ever in history, small faith-based organizations are making a very significant difference in these developing countries because that's where needs are met, is at the local level.
We get on a plane and come and see it and leave, but the cool thing was she's showing us this, and for years she had been sowing into that place and building relationships with those people and had gained their trust, and so she's committing her life and understands that she can do something there and she can make a difference.
Everybody can talk. Talk is cheap. But you've got to put feet to your vision and live that kind of life, and that is not always easy.
I guess for me, I was just looking for spots where there was just extreme abuse going on, extreme human rights violations going on. We went into some brothels where we were offered girls between the age of 12 and 14. And so for probably about $20 US, we could have them for, a few hours. I got in contact with a spirit-filled Catholic priest, and we've funded a rescue team of 5 people who rescues kids straight out of the brothels and also out of the city jails. We get a translator on the phone who'll talk to the girl and say, would you like to be brought out of this situation? Would you like to be rescued? And if she agrees, then we put her on the back of a motorbike and then we take her from there.
Few men are willing to brave the disapproval of their fellows, the censure of their colleagues, the wrath of their society. Moral courage is a rarer commodity than bravery in battle or great intelligence. It is the one essential, vital quality for those who seek to change the world.
If we want to make history, first we have to realize that history is his story. And the only way to properly change history is for us to stop trying to define our own lives and to simply take our place within his story. He's got it all mapped out. The canvas is his, the story is his. And what he's doing is way bigger than any of us can see or imagine.
De vez en cuando es bueno dar un paso atrás y ver desde una perspectiva más amplia. No podemos hacerlo todo, y al comprender eso, sentimos una cierta liberación. Es posible que no veamos nunca el resultado final, pero esa es la diferencia entre el jefe de obras y el albañil. Somos albañiles, no jefes de obras. Somos ministros, no mesías. Somos profetas de un futuro que no es nuestro.
An African slave escaped from a Caribbean island and made his way to Europe. He was able to share his story with a congregation from the Moravian Church in Germany. Profoundly moved, 2 19-year-old believers sold themselves into slavery to bring the gospel to that island. As the boat set sail to the Caribbean, one of them cried out, "I do this that the Lamb may receive the reward for his suffering." They were the first Protestant missionaries. 4 years later, a different ship made its way from England to the United States. A passenger by the name of John Wesley was on his way to serve as a pastor. The weather became fierce and the mast of the boat snapped in two. Wesley and the other passengers feared for their lives. Also on that ship was a group from the Moravian Church on their way to preach to the American Indians. It was the Moravians' peace amidst the storm that convicted Wesley he lacked faith. It was from there that Wesley started his journey of revelation that by faith we freely receive salvation, and loving God and loving others should be the central focus of a person's beliefs. Years later, and suffering from curvature of the spine, Catherine Mumford passionately read the works of John Wesley and recognized her own need for salvation as well as becoming aware of the plight of others. It was during that time Catherine married Methodist minister William Booth, who had strong ideals that the church should be loosing the chains of injustice, freeing the captive and oppressed, sharing food and home, clothing the naked, and carrying out family responsibilities. Catherine shared William's commitment, and in 1878, the Salvation Army was born.
I think the danger is to water this whole thing down to charity. Feeling like we're doing our little bit and then getting on and chasing the dream. The truth is, it's not about our good works. It's not about other people seeing what we're doing or having a plaque on the wall with our names on it. There's no applause in it for us. The agenda is love. It's about seeing the value in everyone, coming alongside people and helping them wherever they're at, sitting with them, engaging with them, doing the journey with people, and doing it quietly when no one's looking and there's nothing for us to gain. It's simply about loving others the same way that we were loved by God, without condition, no strings attached.
How do you picture yourself when you do something charitable? Do you picture yourself bending down to pull somebody up? Or do you picture yourself sitting down with somebody, you know?
I believe the love of God can never be measured, but it can be demonstrated.
People aren't problems to be fixed. People are people for us to walk alongside and journey with and kind of help pick up the pieces with, and when they drop them again, help get back down and help pick them up again. And that's real love without condition and without expectation.
You come alongside an HIV positive woman who's raising 4 or 5 of her children and doesn't know how to do it. You come alongside them and you enter their lives and you help them find solutions, and you have to put your money where your mouth is, you know. And there'll be a time when that woman will let you down, or she will become angry or fail you in your plan to help her. What do? You just keep on loving them.
When you take yourself out of the picture, when you remove your own importance from what you're trying to do, and you start to prefer other people, that's what love looks like.
We're called to be an example, you know, followers of Christ, and people should know that we're Christians by our love, you know.
People are people wherever you go, and every soul is precious to God, and Jesus is to be found in unexpected places. And Jesus is to be found in with a plant kicking a ball around with a small child in Rwanda, and Jesus is to be found, kneeling with a homeless person on a street in LA, and Jesus is to be found at like a D-celebrity Hollywood event where everyone is oozing with Botox and lust and ambition. Like, Jesus is in those places because he's in us.
I just don't think it matters where it is, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Asia, whether it's in South America, or whether it's here in Australia or in Sydney. As long as we're preaching the gospel with our actions, then I think we're fulfilling the Great Commission.
And we all have a part to play, every single one of us, no matter who we are or where we're from or how our yesterday looked. We're a part of this moment, and I believe God's giving us everything that we need to do everything he's calling us to do right now.
I was waiting for the call of God. God, when are you going to send me? And God kind of spoke to me and said, you're still waiting for the call? There's no such thing as a call as such. When you see the need, just go and meet it.
There has been a very dangerous division between what we call the secular and the sacred. So you divided off your day-to-day work as secular, but your devotional life and going to church was sacred. I believe that was a lie. There's nothing secular. All of life belongs to God.
I write music, and I write music for the glory of God, and it doesn't have to be music. Whatever your gift or your talent or your ability is, you can use that to build the kingdom of God.
We're the church in our normal everyday lives, and in our schools, and in our workplaces, and in our families. Like, it's not this mystical thing. We are the church. What do we do? It's like, just as we're doing life, and like we're living lives that are committed to Jesus, with the opportunities that he brings our way, and with the people in our world that we can help, we do that. And when people get a revelation that their life can have a significant impact individually, then together, combined, all of us understanding that, like, what we can do is, we can do anything.
Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance.
'Cause it is not human right to stand our fight while broken nations dream. Open up our eyes so blind that we might find the mercy for the need. Fill our hearts with your compassion. Hey, now, as we hold to our
think about all of the people that we encountered, you know, in every place that we had the privilege of traveling to. I think about the passion and the energy and the urgency with which they sang these songs and expressed their faith. And at the same time, I think about the need that we saw in all those same places. I can't help but look at it and see the potential. You know, I can't help but look at it and see an opportunity. Because imagine if we took that same passion, that same energy, that same urgency, and started to live it out for real. You know, not the lights and the sounds, you know, not the music and not all the stuff, but if we could just get the heart of God for real. And if we could open our eyes to see what God sees and open our ears to hear what God is saying. You know, if we could allow for our hearts to truly be broken for what breaks His. And if we can see the big picture and understand the value of our little part within that, and if we can just get about doing the something that we can do, then I don't think revolution would be the right word, because I think what we would see is something bigger than that.
Imagine what could happen if we all just didn't think that someone else was going to do something and leave it up to the people that you think are qualified or able to or intelligent and worthy of doing that and go, well, I can actually do something myself.
See, if you're not part of the answer, you're probably part of the problem.
Injustice is solved by us being justice.
A lot of people say, you know, we are the future, and that's true, but we are also the present.
Generations have gone before us, but the spotlight is on us. It's our time, you know, and we can do with it what we want, you know, and there's no rules. Like, we have the floor, you know, the world literally is our canvas, you know, and we're going to paint something on it.
We have a limited time here where we can do something which makes a difference, which resounds in all of eternity.
You know, my challenge to you is, are you in or out? And I think, here we go, this is the most exciting time of our lives.
And maybe we're completely naive, and maybe we're fools for even entertaining the thought. Maybe we're too ignorant of all the issues and how deep they actually run. The thing is, the skeptics will never tire of their own voice, and we're not always going to get it right. We're going to stumble time and time again. But call me a fool, you know. The poor will be with us always. Humanity will always be broken. There'll always be the man without a home, the widow who suffers alone. There'll always be another slave to free, another orphan to come alongside, another conflict to end. The fact is, injustice will raise its ugly head time and time again, and and the cruel unpredictability of circumstance will remain around every corner of life. There's a sleeping giant beginning to stir. You know, people awakening to real love and who are starting to walk in it. Our eyes fixed on Jesus Christ, we're moving beyond our differences, laying down our egos, casting aside our logos, rising up with hearts as one, our value nailed to a cross, that we would find value in the broken and the hurting and the lost. Now, if this is foolishness, then let us embrace it. Let us fight against the monster of apathy and indifference. Let the seduction of comfort and convenience and conformity be dead and buried, and let us go to war against injustice and oppression. Let our faith and our hope and our love unite us, and may the story of our lives in all things reflect the wonder and grace of Jesus' name. Amen.
With history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking his blessing and his help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own.